Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Rama
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Rama
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare Ram, Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Hare Ram, Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Rama
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Rama, Hare
Krishna, Ram,
Hare
Rama
Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare
Ram,
Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Ram,
Rama
Hare Ram, Rama, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Rama
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ram 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Ram 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
కరెక్ట్ సారీ వస్తున్నా ఒక్క
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
చెప్పు అక్కడ
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna, Krishna
Rama
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare Rama
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Rama
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Rama
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Rama
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Rama
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna, Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Rama
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare
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 Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare
Rama
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare
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 Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare Rama
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare
Rama,
Hare Krishna.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Ram Hare
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 Hare,
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Ram Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Saraswati Vasadi Gaurav
Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Ram
Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare Krishna
Krishna,
Hare Krishna 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 Ram Ram Hare
Rama,
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Ram Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Ram Ram Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Rama,
Ram Ram
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Ram Ram
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Thank you, Prasad Prabhu. Thank you, Raj Prabhu. Sri Hari Prabhu. Lavanya. Thank you very much for joining. So let us continue. Who will join? Who will join? Let us do it. Please finish your announcement. Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Sudevaya. Om Ajnanatimira Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Putale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaha. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauram Charana Vishesha Shunyavadi. Paschatya Deshatarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasari Gaurav Bhakta Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vacharam Pangam Rangayate Girim Yatkripata Sri Guru Dinitaram Paramananda Madhavu Sri Chaitanya Vishal Om Pavitra Pavitra Sarva Piva Yasmare Dundari Kaksham Sabahya Abhyantram Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Om Tad Vishnu Paramadam Sada Pashanti Surya Diviva Chaksharatam Sadviprasupam Jagraham Samagam Vishnu Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Let us chant Bhagavad Gita verses. The topic is Jnana. Let's share here once. We have completed until 2.25. So let us finish those 5 verses. Talks about, there is no death for the soul. The body can never be saved. Body has to 6 changes of the body. Body has to undergo those 6 changes. Body is there is an end to body, but there is no end to soul. There is no end to soul because it's eternal. No question of ending. always existing. No question of ending, always existing. That's called soul. So let us continue this verse 2.25. Please repeat after me. Ata chainam nityajatam.
Ata chainam nityajatam.
Ata chainam nityajatam.
Ata chainam nityajatam.
Nityam va manyase mritam.
Nityam va manyase mritam.
Nityam va manyase mritam.
Nityam va manyase mritam.
Tatapi tvam mahabaho.
Tatapi tvam mahabaho.
Tatapi tvam mahabaho.
Tatapi tvam mahabaho.
Nainam sochitumarhasi.
Nainam shochitamarhasi.
Nainam sochitumarhasi.
Nainam shochitamarhasi.
Read the translation.
If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of the life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty armed Krishna. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. If, however, you think that the soul will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty armed Arjuna, or symptoms of life. What is trying to say here, Krishna? However, you think that soul will always be born and die forever. There is no question of born, unborn, right, soul? There is no question of die, right, for the soul. What is saying here? You still have no reason to lament, O mighty armed
పుట్టిన
Arjuna.
మళ్ళీ పుడుతుంది మళ్ళీ చనిపోతుంది మళ్ళీ పుడుతుంది మళ్ళీ చనిపోతుంది అనుకున్నావా సోల్కి అలాంటివే ఉండదు ఒకవేళ పుట్టినా చనిపోయింది అనుకుంటే చనిపోయినా పుట్టింది అనుకుంటే యూ డోంట్ నీడ్ టు లామెంట్ ఇంకా మళ్ళీ పుడుతుంది కదా అని అంటున్నాడు
Oh. Very nice. Next step, 27. So now, Muralidhar Prabhu, please, Mataji, please chant with me. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat
yeah.
Pranamalu.
Dandavat pranams. Yeah, Dandavat. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrutyur.
जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युर्
Jatasya hi dhruvo mrutyur.
जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युर्
Dhruvam janma mrutasya cha.
ध्रुवं जन्मामृतस्य च
Dhruvam janma mrutasya cha.
ध्रुवं जन्मामृतस्य च
Tasmad arihariyart apariharyarte.
तस्मादपरिहार्येऽर्थे
Tasmad apariharyarte. Natvam sochitumarhasi.
न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि
ఇంతకుముందేమో నైనం సూచితుమర్హసి నత్వం సూచితుమర్హసి
न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि
చేయండి ఉంది
हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी दंडवत प्रणामालु जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्यु ध्रुवं जन्मामृतस्य च तस्मात् परिहार्येऽर्थे न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि శ్రీల ప్రభుపాదుల వారి అనువాదము పుట్టినవానికి మరణము తప్పదు మరణము పిమ్మట జీవునకు తిరిగి జన్మము తప్పదు అందుచే పరిహరించుటకు వీలు లేని నీ విద్యుక్త ధర్మ నిర్వహణలో నీవు శోకించరాదు హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ
హరే కృష్ణ One who has taken his birth is sure to die. Jatasahi dhruva mritya. And after death, one is sure to take birth. This is called reincarnation. Krishna is giving perfect knowledge. Reincarnation is there. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Coming, going, don't worry. You have to fight, man. You are a kshatriya. Text 28. Avyaktadini bhutani.
अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि
Avyaktadini bhutani.
अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि
Other voices, Prasad Prabhu, Raja Prabhu, your voices also wanna hear the chanting of the Bhagavad Gita slokas. Vyakta. Okay. Vyakta Madhyani Bharata.
व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत
Vyakta Madhyani Bharata.
व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत
Avyakta Nidananyeva.
अव्यक्तानि धनान्येव
Avyakta Nidananyeva.
अव्यक्तानि धनान्येव
तत्र का परिदेवना.
तत्र का परिदेवना
तत्र का परिदेवना.
तत्र का परिदेवना
చేస్తారా మీరు చేయండి
అవ్యక్తాదీని భూతాని వ్యక్తమధ్యాని భారత అవ్యక్తానిధనాన్యేవ తత్ర కా పరిదేవన. శ్రీల ప్రభుపాదుల వారి భాషము. సృష్టింపబడు భౌతిక దేహములన్నీ ఆదిలో అవ్యక్తములై ఉందురు, నడుమ వ్యక్తములై ఉందరు, నశించిన పిమ్మట తిరిగి అవ్యక్తము అగుదురు, కనుక దుఃఖించుటకు అవసరము ఏముండును? హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ.
Read the translation, Prasad Prabhu. Unnara Prabhu? Okay, who wants to do? Sri Hari Prabhu? Okay, all created beings are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So what need is there for lamentation? The Srishti is there. Again, it has to come, it has to go, it has to annihilate. Manifest and manifestation. Krishna is telling you. No need to worry. No, these are the things. These few verses. Hey man, no need to worry. The coming, going. There is a concept, coming, going. No need to worry. You have to fight. All are soul related concepts. ఇది ఆరకంగా ఇద్దాం ఈ శ్లోకం. ఏదది శిష్యస్తే. ఓకే, do it.
ఆశ్చర్యవత్ పశ్చాతి కచ్చిదేనం ఆశ్చర్యవత్ వదతి తథైవ చాన్యా ఆశ్చర్యవచ్చైనమన్యా శృణోతి శ్రుత్వాపీనం వేదనాచనైవ కశ్చిత్. ఆశ్చర్యవత్ పశ్యతి కచ్చిదేనం ఆశ్చర్యవత్ వదతి తథైవ చాన్యా ఆశ్చర్యవచ్చైనమన్యా శృణోతి శ్రుత్వాపీనం వేదనా చైవ కశ్చిత్.
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభు. ఆశ్చర్యవత్ పశ్యతి కచ్చిదేనం ఆశ్చర్యవత్ వదతి తదైవ చాన్యః ఆశ్చర్యవచ్చైనమన్యః శృణోతి శ్రుత్వాపీనం వేదన చైవ కచ్చిత్. శ్రీల ప్రభుపాదుల వారి అనువాదము. కొందరు ఆత్మను ఆశ్చర్యకరమైన దానిగా చూచుదురు, కొందరు దానిని ఆశ్చర్యకరమైనదిగా వర్ణింతురు, మరికొందరు దానిని ఆశ్చర్యకరమైనదిగా విందురు, మరికొందరు దానిని గూర్చి వినపిమ్మట కూడా ఏమాత్రము గ్రహించకుందురు. హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ.
Some look amazing, some hear amazing, some describe amazing the soul, while others, even after hearing all this, cannot understand him at all because of the deep rooted, because of the covering illusory potency, bodily concept of life. That's why Prabhupada writes that statement, bodily concept of life. nice English words you just not soul concept of life, bodily concept of life. That's why from bodily concept of life to soul concept of life, when we practice bhakti yoga sincerely, seriously, no motivation. Last verse, okay, text 30, okay. Dehi nityam avadhyoyam.
देहि नित्यमवद्योऽयम्
Okay, dehi nityam avadhyoyam.
देहे नित्यमवद्योऽयम्
देहे सर्वस्य भारत.
देहे सर्वस्य भारत
देहे सर्वस्य भारत.
देहे सर्वस्य भारत.
మంచి 2 lines बोले. देहे सर्वस्य भारतम. तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि.
तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि
तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि.
तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि
न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि.
न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि.
न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि.
न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि.
देहि नित्यमवध्योऽयं देहे सर्वस्य भारत तस्मात् सर्वाणि భూతాని నత్వం శోచితుమర్హసి. శ్రీల ప్రభుపాదుల వారి అనువాదము. ఓ భరతవంశీయుడా, దేహమున నివసించు దేహి ఎన్నడూనూ చంపబడడు కనుక ఈ జీవిని గూర్చి నీవు దుఃఖించను అవసరము లేదు. హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ.
So in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, is everybody died actually? No. So many soldiers there. Is everybody died? Answer.
Except Pandavas. Yeah, Krishna and Pandavas.
Died in terms of bodily. Body is died, okay. But is everybody died there?
Soul conscious, huh?
See, those, whatever number there, okay. Everybody, souls only, na?
11 Akshauhinis. 18 Akshauhinis. 11 plus 7. Yeah.
So 18 Akshauhini ante any souls? So everybody died there? Died, and body died.
కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ, సారీ ప్రభుజీ, ఈ ఒక గెస్ట్ ఒకళ్ళు వచ్చారు, బయటకు వెళ్ళాల్సి వచ్చింది ప్రభు. ఐఎమ్ సారీ.
No problem. So body dies, soul never dies, right? అర్జునుడు చంపినంటే బాడీని మాత్రమే చంపాను అనమాట. కృష్ణుడు ఇప్పుడు చెప్తున్నాడు, నేను చెప్తున్నాను లాస్ట్ ఇది శ్లోకం. He who dwells in the body can never be slain. అంటే 18 అక్షౌహిణులు అందరూ సోల్సే కదా. Soul is there, but body has to destroy the warfare. Simple. No, body is going to destroy the warfare. All the souls, they have a purpose, Krishna's purpose is there. You all have to come here for the fighting spirit. Fight. Some souls are other side, some souls are good side. But only Pandavas only left. Even Pandava army also, everybody dies. Only 5 Pandavas మిగిలి ఉంటారా
అని తెలుసు నాకు, అంతే. ఇంకా కృపాచార్య కూడా ఉంటారు, కానీ బ్రతికే ఉంటారు.
అంటే పాండవుల సైడ్ కూడా కొంతమంది మంచి వాళ్ళు బాడీ చనిపోయింది అనుకోవాలి, అంతేనా?
మీరు ఇప్పుడు సోల్ కాన్షియస్ లో ఉంటే అంతే,
బాడీ చనిపోయింది అంతే. బాడీ is going to lying down, but soul is a purpose. Two sides. Krishna wants to play both sides, right? Krishna wanted to, if you see past times, good and bad, right? He himself bad, he himself good. అట్లా కృష్ణుని యొక్క అంటాం కాబట్టి నాటకం చేస్తున్నాడు, జగన్ నాటక సూత్రధారి, అందరిని ఆడించేవాడు అనమాట. ఈ లైక్స్ టు ప్లే సింపుల్ విత్ గుడ్ అండ్ బ్యాడ్. ఈ లైక్స్ టు ప్లే విత్ గుడ్ అండ్ బ్యాడ్, అంతే కదా. హరిపూర్. ఓకే, గ్రంథరాజ్ శ్రీమద్ భగవద్గీతకి జై, జగద్గురు శిలా ప్రభుపాద్కి జై. సో నౌ Srila Prabhupada Leelamritam, we are starting volume 2. So before that, let us remember the words of Acharya. What is that? Prabhupada's song. ఒక ఇద్దరు వాడండి, ఒక 2 లైన్, 2 చరణాలు వాడండి ప్లీజ్. సింగ్. పాడడానికి కూడా నెక్టర్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్స్ట్రక్షన్, అసలు రూపవసరం కూడా పట్టించుకుంటాం మనం. వీఆర్ నాట్ వరీ అబౌట్.
నాకు సరిగ్గా రాదు ప్రభు, బట్ ట్రై చేస్తాను.
ఉత్సాహ ధైర్య
यदि प्रभुपाद न हो तो तबे की हो तो ये जीवन बहिते कैसे. यदि प्रभुपाद न हो तो तबे की हो तो ये जीवन बहिते कैसे. निताय गौराय अपार करुणा केदीत साकेल देशे. निताय गौराय अपार करुणा केदेते सकाल देशे. If Srila Prabhupada had not come, what would have happened? How could we have passed our lives? Who else have distributed the ultimate mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Gauranga all over the world?
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next, Utsaha Dhairya Nishaya Tat Karma Pravartana. We have to participate Rupa Goswami instruction, okay? పిలిస్తే పలకరే. పాడండి నెక్స్ట్ సెకండ్ వన్.
పాపి దురాచారి శూన్యవాది మాయావాది పాశ్చాత్తేరాయాతి పాపి దురాచారి శూన్యవాది మాయావాది తదేరే ఉద్ధార కరిబారే మాన తదేరే ఉద్ధార కరిబారే మాన హే నాకో నాదాయనిధి हे नाको नादायनिधि यदि प्रभुपाद न हुई तो तबे के हुई तो ये जीवन बाहित कैसे यदि प्रभुपाद न हुई तो तबे के हुई तो जीवन बाहित कैसे.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Okay.
Translation. Singing.
Which other compassionate person would have endured to deliver the miscreants, sinful, impersonalistic, and voidistic people in the West, except Prabhupada? Jai Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Dayanidhi Prabhupada. Okay. Dayanidhi.
Dayanidhi Prabhupada ki jai.
I don't know what to do.
Magnanimous Prabhupada.
ఏ కృష్ణ కరుణా సింధు అనేది కృష్ణుడు అంటాం కదా. ప్రభుపాద అనేది దయానిధి, కృపానిధి కూడా అంటారు. దయానిధి, కృపానిధి. ఇద్దరు ముందుకు వచ్చింది. అదే చంద్రకళ మాతది, సరస్వతి మాత, 3-4 వేయండి. ఒక కమా.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु. राधे रानी काटे पुन जानासी बिलैता हरि नाम. राधे रानी काटे कुन जानासी बिलैता हरि नाम. सभ्य जीवा रूपे गदिता तादेरा हुई तो अगुयानी. यादे प्रभुपाद न हुई तो ताबे की हुई तो ये जीवाना बाहिता की से. नीताय गौरेरा आपारा कारुणा खिदिता सकला देशे. देशे देशे हरि विग्रह सेवा.
మొత్తం వాడట్లేదు. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్. ఫోర్త్ వన్ చేయండి మీరు, సరస్వతి మొదలు.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. देशे देशे हरि विग्रह सेवारति रात्रि दिने रथ यत्र महोत्सव सब सकैटकुञ्जने. यदि प्रभुपाद न होय तो तबे की होय तो ये जीवान बाहित की से. नीताय गौरेरा अपर करुणा केदित सकल देशे. Prabhuji, can I read third and fourth translation, Prabhuji?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Prabhuji. Who else would have come to distribute Harinam to them? Who else would have come forward to transform them into civilized beings? Fourth, who else would have taught them how to worship the deity form of Lord Hari day and night with Harati, Kirtana, and how to conduct the Rath Yatra and other grand festivals? Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Okay, stop here. Tomorrow we'll continue remaining for Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Yeah.
Jai.
Okay. So we are in from volume 2, starting. Let us see. One more prayer I was remembering. There was nicely written glorification of Prabhupada actually. And suddenly now it is striking in my mind, so nicely. I'll find out and then maybe we'll share in the group. Okay, we'll start. Volume 2, a biography of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder and Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Second and enlarged edition. Satsvarup Dasha Goswami. Ki Jai. Preface. Let me start. After the disappearance of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada from this mortal world on November 14, 1977, many of his disciples saw a need for an authorized biography of Srila Prabhupada. The responsibility of commissioning such a work rested with the governing body commission of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. At their annual meeting in 1978, the GBC resolved that a biography of Srila Prabhupada should be written and that I would be the author. This is Satsvarup Goswami Maharaj is writing the preface. According to Vaishnava tradition, if one aspires to write transcendental literature, he must first take permission from his spiritual master in Krishna. A good example of this is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's authorized biography, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. As Krishnadas Kaviraj has explained, it is in italics, okay? Italic words under italics. Some purpose is there. His mode, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's explanation, what is there? In Vrindavana, there were also many other great devotees, all of whom desired to hear the last pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. By their mercy, all these devotees ordered me to write of the pastimes, of the last pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why we have done, we are reading Chaitanya Charitamrita as part of our reading. Because of that order only, although I am shameless, I have attempted to write this Chaitanya Charitamrita. Having received the order of the Vaishnavas, but being anxious within my heart, I went back to the temple of Madan Mohana in Vrindavana to ask his permission also. So, to say that Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita is an authorized biography does not mean that it is a flattering portrait commissioned by an official body, but that it is an authorized literature presented by one who is serving the order of Krishna and Guru through the disciplic succession. As such, Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita is not written from the mundane or speculative viewpoint, nor can ordinary biographers comprehend the significance and meaning of the life of pure devotee of God. Were such persons to objectively study the life of Srila Prabhupada, the esoteric meanings could evade them. Were they to charitably try to praise Srila Prabhupada, they would not know how. But because Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita is authorized through the transcendental process, it can transparently present the careful reader with a true picture of Srila Prabhupada. So now let me finish for my satisfaction. Let me finish. Another important aspect of the authenticity of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita is the vast amount of carefully researched information that I am able to focus into each volume. The leading devotees of the Krishna consciousness movement, in addition to giving me permission to render this book, have also invited the world community of ISKCON devotees to help me in gathering detailed information about the life and person of Srila Prabhupada. The Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, Prabhupada's publishing house, has given me a collection of letters totaling over 7,000. How many? How many letters?
7,000.
And they active engaging these devotees, the disciples. 7,000 letters. And scores of Prabhupada's disciples have granted interviews and submitted diaries and memoirs of their association with Srila Prabhupada. Aside from his disciples, we have interviewed many persons in various walks of life who met Srila Prabhupada over the years. The result is that we have a rich, composite view of Srila Prabhupada, drawn from many persons who knew him in many different situations and stages of his life. The acknowledgement section in this book lists the persons who cooperated to bring about Srila Prabhupada Lilamritam. Despite the authorized nature of this book, and despite the support of my many well-wishers, I must confess that in attempting to describe the glories of our spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, I am like a small bird trying to empty the ocean by carrying drops of water to the land. The picture I have given of Srila Prabhupada is only a glimpse into his unlimited mercy. Same Dayanidhi. And that glimpse has only been possible by the grace of Guru and Krishna. His Holiness Satswarup Das Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. So let us continue with acknowledgements also. Prasad Prabhu, can you, with all devotees help? By reading devotees' names also we get benefit, okay?
Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Acknowledge, finish.
Sadhuna Prabhu. Okay.
Yes,
I would like to acknowledge the many persons who cooperated to make this biography of Srila Prabhupada possible. Notable among them are Acharya Devidasi. Okay. Next, Agraha Dasya. తర్వాత అరుంధతి దేవిదాసి, అష్టసఖి దేవిదాసి. Wow, two wonderful names, Prabhu. బలదేవ విద్యాభూషణ దాస. ఓకే. బలై దేవిదాసి.
ఇవన్నీ పేర్లు ఎవరు పెట్టారు అనుకున్నారు? ప్రభుపాదనే పెట్టింది తెలుసా? ఒక్కొక్కరి పేర్లు చూస్తే భలే, ఒక్కొక్కరి పేర్లు చూస్తే భలే. బలిమర్దన ప్రభు, బలిమర్దన ప్రభు, అర్చన ప్రభు,
బలై దేవిదాసి,
అర్చి ప్రభు,
బలద్రాజ దాస. ఓకే. So wonderful, Prabhu. ఓకే. భక్తి చారు స్వామి. ఓకే. భక్తి మార్గ దేవిదాసి, భీమల దేవిదాసి, బ్రహ్మ ముహూర్త దాస.
ప్రభు మేబీ ఆ ప్రభు ఆల్ ద టైం బ్రహ్మముహూర్తాలు లేచుడు కావచ్చు, తెలియదు.
బ్రహ్మ సంప్రదాయ దేవి దాసి, బృహత్ మృదంగ దాస, దాస్యరస దేవి దాసి. దాస్యరస దేవి దాసి. సో వండర్ఫుల్. ఓకే. దృష్టకేతు దాస. ఓకే. ధృతి దేవి దాసి. ఓకే. ధృగాదేవి దాసి, దివ్యాంబర దేవి దాసి, దుఃఖహంత్రి దేవి దాసి. వావ్, దుఃఖహంత్రి అంటే దుఃఖాలు తీసేసి ఆవిడ. ఏకనాథ దాస. ఓకే. గౌర పూర్ణిమ దాస. గోపి గోపి ప్రాణధాన గోపి ప్రాణధాన దాస. గోవింద మాధవ దాస. గోపి ప్రాణధాన దాస. గోవింద మాధవ దాస, గోవింద దాస. జాదురాణి దేవి దాసి. ఇది ఎక్కువ వింటాం ప్రభు, జాదురాణి అని. ఇందులోనే
చాలా పెయింటింగ్స్ ఆర్టిస్ట్ ఉంటుంది. We got an opportunity met her in Alachua Prabhu in US. Okay.
జగదేశ్వరి దేవి దాసి. ఓకే. జగత్ కారుణ దేవి దాసి, జయద్వైత స్వామి, జయ పతాక స్వామి, జిత సఖి దేవి దాసి, కీర్తన రస దాస. ఓకే. క్షమదేవి దాసి, కృష్ణ గోపాల దాస, కృష్ణ స్నేహ దాస, కుండలి దాస. ఓకే. కుశక్రత దాస, మమతాదేవి దాసి, మండేలేశ్వర దాస, ముకుంద గోస్వామి, నాగరాజ దాస, ముక్తిదేవి దాసి, ఓకే. ముకుంద గోస్వామి. తర్వాత నాగరాజ దాస, నారద ఋషి దాస, నారాయణి దేవి దాసి, బా నిత్య తృప్త దేవి దాసి, పరమ రూప దాస, పరీక్షిత్ దాస, బా ఓకే. పతిత పావన దాస, పతిత పావన దాస. ఈజ్ నాట్ లెఫ్ట్ ఎనీవన్ బ్రో.
మీరు చదువుతుంటే ఇంకా మజా వస్తుంది బ్రో. ప్రాణాద దేవి దాసి, పూర్ణచంద్ర దేవి దాసి. మా నాన్నగారి పేరు పూర్ణచంద్ర. అది బా
రాధా వల్లభ దాస, రాజనంద్రనాథ దాస, రాజేంద్రనాథ దాస, రామదాస అభిరామ దాస. వావ్. రామేశ్వర దాస, రామేశ్వరం పేరుతో కూడా ఉన్నారు. రామేశ్వర దాస. ఓకే. రాక్ష రాజ దాస, రుక్మిణీదేవి దాసి, సధాన సిద్ధి దాస, సంతోష దాస, సార్వభౌన దాస, సర్వభావన దాస, శేషదాస, సింహేశ్వర దాస, సీతాదేవి దాసి, శ్రీకంఠ దాస, సుభద్రదేవి దాసి, సురేశ్వర దాస, తేజాస్ దాస, త్రిధామ దాస, వైశ్వంపరాయణ దాస, విద్యానంద దాస, విశాఖ దేవి దాసి. ఇది కూడా వింటా ఉంటాం. ఓకే. యద్భుర దాస, యమరాజ దాస.
మూవీ
మూవీ. ఓకే.
యద్వర విశాఖ మాతాజీ హస్బెండ్ అండ్ వైఫ్.
ఓకే. యద్భుర దాస, యమరాజ దాస, యోగేశ్వర దేవి దాసి. హరి బోల్, హరి బోల్,
పాపం
హరి బోల్.
యమరాజా అని పెట్టిండ్రు.
ఇది నాన్ డివోటీ, ఇది డివోటీ కృష్ణ, రైట్?
ఇది డివోటీయే కానీ 12 మహాజన్స్ కాకపోతే యమరాజా పేరు పెట్టుకున్నారంటే గ్రేటే.
అంటే అందరినీ వదలలేదు యాక్చువల్లీ ఎప్పుడే.
అదే అయిపోయినాయా నేమ్స్ ఇంకున్నాయా?
ఉంటాను.
అయిపోయినా.
కుశకృత మీనింగ్ ఏంటండి? అంటే మాక్సిమం తెలుసు కాకపోతే కుశకృత అది ఉంది ఒకటి.
I don't know. We'll find out. I don't know.
కుశకృత
Why?
వెరైటీ ఉంది.
I don't know why. I don't know.
సీతారాం లక్ష్మణ్ హనుమాన్ దాస్
ఉందా?
ఇంకో పేరు కూడా ఉంది ప్రభుజీ. సీతారాం లక్ష్మణ్ హనుమాన్ దాస్.
అన్ని కవర్ అయిపోతున్నాయి.
హరే కృష్ణ.
ఏమని పిలుస్తారు ప్రభుజీ ఆ పేరుని వాళ్ళని?
ఎవరు నిన్న ఎక్కడ ప్రవచనంలో విన్నా కదా మరి, సీతారాం లక్ష్మణ్ సీతాప్రభు అని పిలుస్తారండి ఆయనకు. సీతారాం లక్ష్మణ్ హనుమాన్ దాస్ అని పెట్టారు.
కుశకృత వెరైటీ ఉంది. కుశకృత
అట్లాంటే ఎన్నో పేర్లు మనకు తెలియని, యాక్చువల్ చాలా పేర్లు తెలివాయి యాక్చువల్గా డిసైపుల్స్.
ఇందులో మీనింగ్ ఏంటి అని కుశకృత డిఫరెంట్ ఉంది. అవన్నీ సీత అవన్నీ కొంచెం తెలుసు కదా. ఇది ఏంటో మీనింగ్ కుశకృత అంటే ఏంటి అని.
We'll find out. Okay. So let us continue. Who wants to read? Start. Lift your hand. Inka? Okay, start reading. Yeah. Whoever lifted, please start reading. Hurry, go.
Can I start?
Yeah, start.
ఇంకెవరు లిఫ్ట్ చేశారు?
Can I start and jump in? Go ahead.
Okay. Introduction. Sri Prabhupada Leelamrita from Volume 2, Introduction. One day in 1977 June, Srila Prabhupada sat in his garden at the Krishna Balram Mandir in Vrindavana, India, conversing with few devotees. Although for 4 months he had been manifesting external symptoms of ill health, he still enjoyed sitting here with his disciples while aromatic jasmine blossoms scented the air and the fountain gently splashed. He had been discussing various topics, including how modern godless civilization was a society of two-legged animals. Speaking of life in India as he had known it as from a child, he described in a simple way of living and he began recalling some of his childhood experiences. At his birth, he said an astrologer had predicted that at age 70 he would leave India and establish many temples. Prabhupada said he had not understood this prediction for many years, but that by Krishna's grace he had gone to America at the age of 70 to execute the order of his spiritual master. In America, the result of his preaching had given him great hope, and he had obtained permanent residency there, expecting not to return to India. One of Srila Prabhupada's disciples is present. Tamala Krishna Goswami spoke up. Do you regret having come back to India? No, Srila Prabhupada said. My plan was to stay in America, but Krishna's plan was different. Therefore, when I was coming back, I was speaking to Dwarakadisha, the Krishna deity in ISKCON Los Angeles Temple, Dwarakadish. I said to Dwarakadisha, I came here to preach. I don't know why you are dragging me back. So I was unhappy to leave, but Krishna had his plan. Srila Prabhupada went on to say that by following Krishna's plan of leaving Vrindavana and then, after preaching in America, coming back to Vrindavana, he had gained the most wonderful temple, Krishna Balram temple in Vrindavana. You always came out victorious, Tamala Krishna said. I have never seen you defeated. In Bombay, for example, it seemed to be an impossible situation. Yes, no one was interested, said Srila Prabhupada. Who could see such a big project would come up? Only you could see that, said Tamala Krishna. You and Radha Rasbihari, the Krishna deity in ISKCON Bombay temple. Juhu enadi Rasbihari? But still I was determined. They should write a book about that, said Tamala Krishna. It is history, Srila Prabhupada added, that is worth writing about. Mayapur also. The first part of this volume of Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita is an attempt to fulfill Prabhupada's desire that a book be written about the struggles undergone for establishing a wonderful temple for Krishna in Bombay, as well as in Mayapur and Vrindavana. It is a history worth writing about. This history is worth telling not only to Srila Prabhupada's intimate followers, but to the whole world. After all, it is for the benefit of people everywhere that Srila Prabhupada struggled against great obstacles to establish these three prominent ISKCON temples in Bombay, in Vrindavana, and in Mayapur. For Srila Prabhupada, temple meant not only to building but a center of highest learning, an institution for teaching the science of God. He saw that the people were mad after material progress with little interest in understanding their spiritual identity. They identified themselves with the material body. Centers of spiritual learning and culture, therefore, were of prime importance in liberating people from their bodily identification.
Haribo.
You can
Yeah, thank you. Somebody start, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji. Srila Prabhupada's plan had been to transplant the seedling of India's spirituality in the West and then to return the healthy plant to its native soil, where the teachings of Lord Krishna had become confused by persons misrepresenting Vedic culture. In reawakening India's own culture, Srila Prabhupada wanted especially that there be wonderful temples of Krishna consciousness, temples for everyone's benefit. This story is worth telling in that through it we learn of the mind and actions of a pure devotee of the Lord. We cannot expect to imitate such a great empowered devotee as Srila Prabhupada, but we can read about his activities in this volume, and that will inspire us and show us how, by persistence, hard work, and patience, we can become successful in our attempts to regain our forgotten Krishna consciousness and become pure devotees of the Lord. This history is worth writing about also because to hear of Srila Prabhupada's activities is naturally very relishable. Hearing about the activities of Lord Krishna's pure devotee is as relishable and purifying as hearing about Lord Krishna himself. Simply by reading and appreciating Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita, we will purify our hearts and advance in spiritual enlightenment. Although the first part of this volume focuses primarily on Srila Prabhupada's establishing of three major temples in India, these chapters also described his varied activities as the world traveling leader of his uh, burgeoning International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Srila Prabhupada wanted the Krishna conscious movement on every continent, in every city, in every town and village. So, although Srila Prabhupada's establishing of his three main Indian centers provides the theme, the reader will also find the Srila Prabhupada actively representing Lord Krishna and the disciplic succession in Los Angeles, Nairobi, New York, Melbourne, Paris, all over the world. The second part of this volume begins with a biographical synopsis spanning 1970 to 1975, highlighting two major activities of Srila Prabhupada: book production and book distribution. Meanwhile, however, Srila Prabhupada was active in many other ways, and specifically, he divided his time between America and India. In America, where Srila Prabhupada had the most disciples, the most temples, and the major front for his book distribution campaign, he toured and preached. Because his spiritual master had ordered him specifically to preach to the English speaking world, he had begun his movement in America. He wrote in English and generally preferred to speak in English, even when in his own country before thousands of Indians. Srila Prabhupada's preaching throughout America, especially in these later years, was mostly for the benefit of his disciples. He wanted to put the Krishna conscious movement into their hands now that his movement in the US had strength and maturity. This is your country, he would tell his disciples, and you know best how to preach here. But just to guide them and inspire them, he was lecturing, talking with reporters and university professors, purchasing properties, and simply being with his disciple as their leader, field commanders, and worshipable master.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Rajesh. Next, who wants to read? Please go ahead. Prasad Prabhu. Dear Prabhu, Undora. Haribol.
డ్రైవింగ్ ప్రభు ఒక 10 నిమిషాల తర్వాత చూద్దాం.
Okay. Haribol, dear Prabhu. Okay. Let me read. In India, Srila Prabhupada continued managing ISKCON on a practical daily basis, without his scrutiny in all manner of practical affairs, from financial to legal, from cleaning to cooking, from receiving guests to hiring construction workers. Things would not be done properly. The disciple would be cheated, and ISKCON would not be appreciated as pure Vedic Dharma. With great difficulty, he had begun his three major ISKCON centers in India: Bombay, Vrindavana, and Mayapur, and Hyderabad also at the fag end of 1974 that time. He had laid a foundation of bold, ambitious plans But that would not be sufficient. ISKCON in India had not yet developed to the point where Prabhupada could say, as he had said to his disciples in America, now it is in your hands. Now it was in his hands. And to accomplish his goal, he assumed his feature of the exacting taskmaster, the relentlessly sharp-sighted temple manager. That was his means. His end was to have his disciples actually take the management into their hands. But they would have to manage his way. As he would sometimes say to his leaders, do as I am doing. That lesson, once learned, would establish an ISKCON that would flourish even if he relinquished the reins. An ISKCON that would survive even after his passing away. But Prabhupada's direct guidance was still required. And not only for showing his disciples how to manage ISKCON in India or how to preach in America, but also for protecting society from internal strife and schism. And in this volume, we see Srila Prabhupada expertly unify ISKCON during a trial of diversive party spirit, divisional, differentiations, different opinions, divisive party spirit. Srila Prabhupada life followed rhythm, touring, preaching, and managing interspersed with periods of writing and translating. Touring, preaching, and managing interspersed with periods of writing and translating. అద్భుతమైన సెంటెన్స్ ఇది చూడు మొత్తం ఇలా Srila Prabhupada's life followed rhythm. What is that rhythm? Touring all over the world. Preaching tour. Managing interspersed with periods of writing and translating. The two types of activities were not always compatible. However, since one was fast-paced and vigorously outgoing, and the other intensively meditative, but both were necessary. In fact, one of Prabhupada's goals in traveling throughout the world and painstakingly training his ISKCON leaders was to ultimately stop traveling, stop managing, and just sit in one place and write. But until such time, he was prepared to rise shortly after midnight, wherever he was, and write. Occasionally, however, he got a special opportunity, as in Hawaii, in the summer of 1976, where for 1 month his ISKCON management stopped and his writing progressed at more than double the usual pace. But such quiet periods were the exception, as Srila Prabhupada said, not in this lifetime. Still, Srila Prabhupada didn't begrudge his burden of touring and managing. He relished the struggle. In June of 1976, when his health was poor and his disciples pleaded with him to rest for several months, he was unmoved. And when they persisted, he affirmed, I want the benediction to go on fighting for Krishna, just like Arjuna. We'll stop with this Vera. Srila Prabhupada's fighting, his writing, his traveling back and forth between two worlds, East and West, was for uniting both those worlds in Krishna consciousness. He saw himself as transplanting Vedic culture from East to West, an amazing feat in itself. But he was also reviving Vedic culture in India. His plan to unite the East's Krishna conscious culture with the West's prosperity. East's Krishna conscious culture with the West's prosperity and technological advancement, and thus benefit the entire world. What is that? Employ everything in Krishna service. Employ. Prabhupada and Asana. The West is prosperity, East is Krishna consciousness, Indian culture, Western prosperity, double Western country and double and technological advancement using in Krishna service. In India, due to poverty, was lame, and America, due to spiritual ignorance, was blind. And alone they were incomplete. But if the two cooperated, the blind carrying the lame man on his shoulders, the blind guided by the lame, then both could progress happily. So nice analogy. It's good one. And both benefit the entire world. What is that benefit? This is the thing. India is poverty-stricken country that time. Lame and America, spiritual ignorance. Alone they were incomplete, but if the two cooperated, the blind carrying the lame man on his shoulders, the blind guided by the lame, then both could progress happily. So nice. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So you all continue. Again, one more time. Lavanya, continue.
ఇక్కడ ఇదేనా మళ్ళీ మీరు కంటిన్యూ చేయరా?
ఇదే ప్రభుపాద ఆల్రెడీ చేసిన
ఓకే ఎంత ఉంది అని ఇంకా
2-3 paragraphs కంటిన్యూ చేసి
ఓకే. ఇది డిఫరెంట్ ఉంది ఇటాలిక్స్ లో, అందుకు అడుగుతున్నా. Srila Prabhupada was also uniting two worlds in yet another way. He was uniting the material world with the spiritual. Some 500 years ago, some 500 years before, Srila Rupa Goswami had enunciated the philosophy that the entire material world, being an emanation from Lord Krishna, is non-different from him. And when the material world is linked with Krishna in devotional service, it regains its spiritual nature. Srila Prabhupada fully embodied that principle, utilizing the latest technological achievements in transportation and communication, striving to spiritualize the entire material world. As Srila Prabhupada had written in his Srimad Bhagavatam purports, therefore, all the sages and devotees of the Lord have recommended that the subject matter of art, science, philosophy, physics, chemistry, psychology, and all other branches of knowledge should be wholly and solely applied in the service of the Lord. Art, literature, poetry, painting, etc. may be used in glorifying the Lord. The fiction writers, poets, and celebrated literatures are generally engaged in writing of censored subject matter, but if they turn towards the service of the Lord, they can describe the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. Similarly, science and philosophy should also be applied in the service of the Lord. Similarly, all other branches of knowledge should always be engaged in the service of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada was specifically చదవనా?
Continue.
Srila
Actually,
Prabhupada
yeah, you can read here. Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada was specifically empowered to teach the entire world how, by linking everything with Krishna through devotional service, they could enjoy the essence of the spiritual world even in this life. This, Prabhupada said, was the one switch that will brighten everything and everywhere. This final volume of Srila Prabhupada Leelamrita concludes with Srila Prabhupada's last year on earth. It is in 1977. At the beginning of the year, he heard news of a conspiracy against his movement in the West and the so-called anti-cult movement. He gave fearless direction to his devotees how to combat the bigotry, compared it to the attacks of Krishna himself had to face from the Asuras. Haribol, and was pleased to hear of an important New York State Court decision completely vindicating the Krishna conscious movement from charges of brainwashing. The last chapter recounts Srila Prabhupada's final lessons as he spent his last days in his Vrindavana residence. Abstaining from food in his last months, he taught exemplary lessons in how A human being should ready himself to leave this body and return to the eternal spiritual world by always chanting and hearing about Lord Krishna, and by allowing his disciples to associate intimately with him in these last days. He taught final instructions in love, a love that endures beyond death. Haribol.
Super. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. This is the intro of this book. Oh, nice. Okay, so let us continue. Prasad Prabhu, you want to read? We'll start next, whatever, another 10 minutes. The land is yours. Chapter 37. Volume 2, 37. The land is yours. You want to read, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. I'll start, Prabhu. Okay,
Next,
chapter.
Akinchan Prabhu, next to be ready, okay? Go ahead, Prabhu.
Prabhuji. Chapter 37, The Land is Yours. Calcutta, March 1971. Okay, I hope my voice is good, Prabhu.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, it was midnight. Okay. Srila Prabhupada sat on the pillow behind his lotus. His light, the only one in the building. Only one in the building. All the other devotees were unmade. On the desk before him rested the dictating machine and the volume of Srimad Bhagavatam with Bengali commentary. A small framed picture of his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, sat between two small vases of rose and asters. On the floor beyond the desk was the broad mat covered with a white cotton fabric, where a few hours before devotee and guest had sat. But now he was alone. Although usually he retired at 10, rising 3 or 4 hours later to translate. Tonight he had not rested, and his Bhagavatam lay closed. His dictating machine covered. He had sent two of his disciples, Tamala Krishna and Balimardana, to purchase land in Mayapur. 6 days had passed, however, and still they had neither returned nor sent word. He had told them not to return until they had completed the transaction. But 6 days was more than enough. He was anxious, thinking constantly of his two disciples. Okay. A breeze arrived, carrying the fragrance of neem trees through the open window. The night was becoming cool, and Prabhupada wore a light chadara around his shoulders. Absorbed in thought, learning against the white bolster pillow, he paid little attention to the familiar sights of his room. A clay jug with drinking water sat beside him, and a potted tulsi plant sat upon a small wooden pedestal. The electricity of most of the day and night, the electricity of most of the day and night was now on, and months and months and other insects hovered around the bare bulb overhead. A lizard parrot crawled the ceiling, occasionally darting forward near the light to capture the insect. ఎంత మంచిగా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తున్నారో. Why were Tamala Krishna and Bali Mardana taking so long? It had been more than just a wait of 6 days. He had been trying to obtain land in Mayapur for years. At this time, the prospects had been excellent. He had clearly instructed Tamala Krishna and Balimardana, and by now they should have returned. The delay could mean a complication or even a danger. చదువుతా ఉంటే అసలు చదవాలనిపిస్తూనే ఉంటుంది బ్రో. The land they were trying for was a nigh bigha plot on Bhakti Siddhanta Road, less than a mile from the birth site of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Sikh brothers, Muslim farmers who owned the plot, had been asking a high price. Only recently had a Calcutta lawyer familiar with Navadvipa been able to seriously negotiate a fair price. The Sikh brothers had settled for 14,500 rupees, and Prabhupada had authorized withdrawal of funds from the bank in Krishnanagar. Thus, Tamal Krishna and Balimardana had left for Mayapur, while Prabhupada had remained in Calcutta, carrying on with his affairs, but thinking often of the activities of his disciples in Mayapur. Their mission was very important to him, and he kept them in his mind, personally blessing them with his concern. Okay. Prabhupada wanted an ISKCON center in Mayapur. It was a desire that had increased within him as his movement had increased throughout the years. He could easily visit or live in Mayapur. That was no problem. But he needed a place for his disciples. చూసారా మన కోసం ఎంత కష్టపడ్డారు. His spiritual master had ordered him to preach in the West. And now, with the success of Krishna conscious society, the Western Vaishnavas require a center in Mayapur where they could reside and worship and receive the immense benefit of the holy Dhama. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati had stressed the great importance of Mayapur, and some of his sannyasi disciples had temples there. Why shouldn't the International Society for Krishna Conscious also be able to take the shelter of Mayapur?
Thank you, bro.
Thank you, Prabhu. So wonderful. Thank you very much. Haribol. ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్ ఏంటంటే మహారాజు యొక్క డిసేబుల్స్ కి ఆల్రెడీ సెంటర్స్ ఉన్నాయి, అంటే గౌడే మట్స్ ఉన్నాయని చెప్తున్నారు, అంతే కదా బ్రో? ఎస్ బ్రో, థ్యాంక్ యూ బ్రో.
Yes, bro. Since birth, Prabhupada had been aware of the significance of Lord Chaitanya and his Dhama, Sri Mayapur. He had grown up in Calcutta, where everyone knew the Lord Chaitanya, and because his father, Gaur Mohan De, had been a pure devotee of the Lord Chaitanya from the childhood, he had sung the Bengali songs of Gaur Nitai and their pastimes in the land of Gauda. We had imbibed deeply the teachings of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, especially after meeting his spiritual master in Calcutta in 1922. Lord Chaitanya had spent his first 24 years in Mayapur and Navadvipa. Yet since his manifest pastime there almost 500 years ago, the places of those pastimes had been obscured, the Lord's birthplace lost, and his teachings confused and misused. Despite the disciplic line of pure devotees from Lord Chaitanya, not until the advent of the Bhakti Vedanta Thakura, the father of Bhakti Vedanta Thakura, the father of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, did Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, and pure teachings began to emerge. Bhakti Vinod Thakura published many books and preached to re-establish the intellectual, moral, and spiritual integrity of Chaitanya Vaishnavism. He researched and explored the land of Navadvipa, ascertaining the exact birth site of the Lord. Citing Vedic evidences, he established that many previous incarnations of Vishnu had enacted pastimes in Navadvipa. Not only did Bhaktivinoda Thakura document Navadvipa's past glory, but also foresaw its glorious future, when the religion based on the teachings of Lord Chaitanya would emerge and spread throughout the world and when the European and American Vaishnavas would throng to Navadipa to join the Bengali brothers in the chanting Jaya Sachinandana, the time would come, Bhaktivinoda Thakura wrote, when in the land of Navadipa, on the plain of the Ganges, a magnificent temple would arise, proclaiming to the world the glories of the Lord Chaitanya. All glories to Lord Chaitanya, the son of Sachi. Yes. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, carrying out the desires of his father and preceptor Bhaktivinoda Thakura, had formed the Gaudiya Mata for propagating the teachings of Lord Chaitanya and the glories of Navadip Dhamma. He had induced a wealthy disciple to spend his fortune for erecting a temple at Lord Chaitanya's birthplace in Mayapur, and he had constructed a Kirtana hall commemorating the place of the Lord Chaitanya's Kirtanas. He had also constructed his own residence in Mayapur. He had built temples throughout the India, 64 in all, but because he wanted the English-speaking world especially to take the Lord Chaitanya's movements, he had emphasized as the publishing and distributing Krishna consciousness literature. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Anybody wants to read, and otherwise you can stop. I have seen one more connection. Who is that? Madhavi Mata, Hare Krishna. Haribol. Hare Krishna. Sri Hari Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada.
Okay, please continue reading.
Srila Prabhupada, sitting in his room in the Calcutta temple, shared the great vision of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati and Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Yet to enact this great vision, he had to take practical steps, and he was content to take them in the most humble way. A devotee should not simply daydream, expecting Krishna to accomplish everything with miracles. Should I continue, Prabhu?
Continue.
Prabhupada, however, was not dreaming ideally. Working for years alone in India, he had held his plan of going to the West, and Krishna had at last fulfilled that desire. In America, in whatever circumstances and with whatever small facilities Krishna had provided, he had preached, and slowly, step by step, he had met with success, realizing his vision of a worldwide society of devotees. Always, he had kept his greater vision in mind, as every step forward had given him deeper satisfaction, and had brought him closer to fulfilling his mission. Yeah. Prabhupada sometimes told the story of a poor potter who dreamed of expanding his business and becoming fabulously rich. As the potter slept one night, he dreamed of how much land and how many houses he would have, and of how he would have a beautiful wife. When the potter considered that perhaps the wife would quarrel with him, he became angry and said, "If my wife fights with me, I will kick her." And kicking, he broke the only 2 pots in his stock and was reduced to nothing. Whether chanting or writing or reading or preaching, Prabhupada had been observed in his plan for spreading Krishna consciousness and fulfilling the dream of past Acharya. Now he was anxious to complete the next step, and for this he was waiting up past midnight, meditating on his 2 disciples and their important mission.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
We'll stop here. Directly go to Mukundamala Stotra. So you all chant, na? Can anybody chant this prayer? Okay. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrutam ki jai. We will continue from this para tomorrow. Okay. So anybody please sing this one and practice the verses. Anybody wants to do? Muralidhar Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. ஆழ்வார்கள் பன்னிருவர் பொய்கையார் பூதத்தார் பேயாழ்வார் திருமலிசை நம்மாழ்வார் மதுர கவி பெரியாழ்வார் ஆண்டாள் குலசேகர தொண்டரடி பொடி திருப்பானே திருமங்கை ఎనాల్వార్గాల్ పన్నిరువర్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్. సో ప్రభు చేస్తారా మీరు ఏమైనా వర్సెస్ 19, 20, 21
చేద్దాం ప్రభు. ఫస్ట్ మీరు చేయండి, తర్వాత అందరం.
ఓకే
హరిబోల్.
ఒకసారి చేస్తా. యా నేను చేస్తాం. యత్ కృష్ణ యత్ కృష్ణ ప్రణిపాతధూళిధవలం తద్వర్ష్మదద్వైశిరస్ తే నేత్రే తమసోజ్జితే సురుచిరే యాభ్యం హరిర్దృశ్యతే సా బుద్ధిర్విమలేందుశంఖధవల యా మాధవాధ్యాయిని సా జిహ్వామృతవర్షిణి ప్రతిపదం యా స్తౌతి నారాయణం జిహ్వే కీర్తయ కేశవం మురరిపుం చేతభజ శ్రీధరం పాణిద్వంద్వసమర్చయాచ్యుతకథ శ్రోత్రద్వయత్వం శృణు కృష్ణం లోకయలోచనద్వయ హరేర్ గచ్ఛాంగ్రియుగ్మాలయం జిఘ్రాఘ్రాణ ముకుంద పద తులసిం మూర్ధన్నమాదోక్షజం ఆమ్నాయాభ్యసనాన్యరన్యరుదితం వేదవ్రతాన్యన్వహం మేధశ్చేడ ఫలాని పుత్ర విదయ సర్వం హుతం భాస్మని తీర్థానాం అవగాననీ చ గజ స్నానం వినాయత్పద ద్వంద్వాంభోర్హ సంస్మృతిం విజయతే దేవస్స నారాయణ. మురళీధర్ ప్రభు చేయండి. ఫస్ట్ యూ లిఫ్టెడ్ యువర్ హ్యాండ్, డూ ఇట్.
హరే కృష్ణ మాతా చేస్తారు ప్రభుజీ.
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ.
హరే కృష్ణ.
కృష్ణ ప్రణిపాతధూళిధవళం తద్వర్మ తద్వైశిరా స్తే నేత్రే తమశ్చోజితే సురుచిరే యాభ్యాం హరిదృశ్యతే సా బుద్ధిర్విమలేందుశంఖధవళా యా మాధవాధ్యాయిని సా జిహ్వామృతవర్షిణి ప్రతిపదం యా స్తౌతి నారాయణం జిహ్వే కీర్తయ కేశవం మురరిపుం చేతో భజ శ్రీధరం ప్రాణిద్బంధ సమర్చయాచ్యుతకథా స్తోత్రధ్రయా త్వం శృణు కృష్ణం లోకయలోచనద్వయ హరేర్ గచ్ఛాంగ్రియుగ్మాలయం జిఘ్రఘ్రాణ ముకుంద పాద తులసీం మూర్ధన్నమాదోక్షజం ఆమ్నాయాభ్యసనాన్యరన్యరుదితం వేదవ్రతాన్యన్వహం మేధచ్ఛేదఫలాని పూర్ణవిదయ సర్వం హుతం భస్మని తీర్థానామవగాహనాని చ గజా స్నానం వినా యత్పదా ద్వంద్వాంభోరుహ సంస్కృతిం విజయతే దేవస్స నారాయణః. హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ.
So good. Thank you. Next, who lifted hands, please continue.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yat Krishna pranipatadhulidawalam tadvarshma tadvaishiras te netre samasojite suruchire याभ्यां हरिर्दृश्यते सा बुद्धिर्विमलेन्दुशङ्खधवला या माधवध्यायिनी सा जिह्वामृतवर्षिणी प्रतिपदं या स्तौति नारायणं जिह्वे कीर्तय केशवं मुररिपुं चेतो भज श्रीधरं पाणिद्वन्द्वसमर्चयाच्युतकथा स्तोत्रद्वयस्त्वं शृणु कृष्णं लोकयलोचनद्वयहरेर्गच्छाङ्घ्रियुग्मालयं जिह्रघ्राणमुकुन्दपादतुलसीं मूर्धन्यमादोक्षजम् आम्नायभ्यसनान्यरन्यरुदितं वेदव्रतान्यन्वहं मेधश्चेदफलानि पूर्तविदयः सर्वं हुतं भस्मनि तीर्थानामवगाहननानि च गज स्नानं विना यत्पदा द्वन्द्वाम्बोरुह संस्मृतिं विजयते देवः स नारायणः. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Next, go and end, then we can wrap up. Okay, come on.
यत् कृष्ण प्रणिपातधूलिधवलं तद्वैशिरस्ते नेत्रसमोऽसोजिते सुरुचिरे यद्भयं हरिर्दृश्यते सबुद्धिर्विमलेन्दुशङ्खधवलाय माधवादायिनी सज्जीवामृतवर्षिणि प्रतिपदं या स्तौति नारायणम् जिह्वे कीर्तय केशवं मुररिपुं चेतोद्भज श्रीधरं पाणिद्वन्द्व समराच्युतकथा श्रोत्रदवयो त्वं शृणु कृष्णालोकय लोकचनद्वयय हरिये गच्छाङ्घ्रियुग्मालयं जिग्राहग्रहण मुकुन्दपादतुलसीं मूर्धहन् नामोक्षजम् अम्लाय भयानाय मवरण्यरुदितं वेदव्रयन्तानि अन्वयाम् वेदश्चेदफलानि पुत्रविधाया सर्वं हुतं भास्मनि तीर्थानाम् अवगाहनानि च गजस्नानं विनायत्पद द्वन्द्वावम्बुरोः समश्रितं विजयते देवस्य नारायण. Thank you, bro. Sorry.
Thank you so much. So we'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय. जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय. निताय गौर हरि प्रेमानंदे. हरि हरि बोल. Okay.
हरि बोल.
Thank you so much. We'll connect tomorrow.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Mataji. Dandavat pranam to everybody.
Hare Krishna.